An officer of the court, and you're here advising us to be respectful of federal judges, and you say they're evil members of the United States Supreme Court? Gag me with a spoon.
Okay, so this next call is very long, and it went so sideways, but I think what's important about this is that we need to not accept our elected officials yelling at citizens for exercising their rights and trying to use gotchas and weirdness, especially in formal government hearings. So that's what this is about next. Again, I thought this was going to be a quick little leave a comment and give it to the senator, but the staffer doubled down on his bad behavior, and it just went whew. So anyway, here we go.
Senator Kennedy's office.
Good afternoon. I had a comment for Senator Kennedy after watching a hearing about judicial injunctions that he was participating in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So I am just wondering if, quote, gag me with a spoon is like a technical term that's used in the Senate, or something that would just explain why he would use that kind of language to be combative with a witness during a hearing. Is that a technical term in the Senate, or is it really, or am I missing something?
Oh, no, you're not missing anything. I was actually in that hearing.
Yeah.
And I think he was just very frustrated with the witness and
Kate Shaw. Kate Shaw. He was very, very frustrated with her because he was badgering her about a podcast that she hosts where she is using her First Amendment free speech rights to criticize our federal judiciary, which she is able to do. We live in America.
Right.
But she was there to talk
in
about...
her position, though?
She was there to talk about judicial injunctions, though, and was very eloquently explaining her position about judicial injunctions and the history thereof. And Senator Kennedy went on this long rant about her podcast.
And I'll see what we can do about this, all right? Where are you calling from? Lily.
Doesn't matter where I'm calling from. I'm calling about this.
Ma'am, if you're not a constituent, then I don't
ma'am, in the First Amendment, I am actually allowed to petition the government for redress of grievances. And I have a grievance against Senator Kennedy using terms like gag me with a spoon against a witness who he is simultaneously upbraiding for not showing the proper respect to the judges that he thinks need to be shown respect to. I think that is a very bizarre take. I don't have to be his constituent.
I just don't see how I can help you.
You can take down the comment like you're supposed to and pass it on to Senator Kennedy that his behavior was that his behavior in a Senate committee meeting for an issue that affects the entire American people and not just the constituents of Louisiana. His behavior in a Senate committee meeting where he was questioning a witness about a very specific topic and then decided to upbraid her about using her First Amendment rights and then using terms like gag me with a spoon during her time.
That's a term that people use.
I know, I realize it's a term that people use, but usually when we're in something like a formal Senate committee hearing, we don't yell at people about it, especially when we're criticizing them, again, for exercising their First Amendment rights. He is a senator. He is the government. He does not get to criticize any citizen of the United States for their free speech, and certainly when it's not even the subject of the hearing.
Well, she was lying.
She was not lying. She did not recall.
She said that she never said that.
Oh, okay. She said that
she did not recall.
She did not. She said she did not recall saying it. And actually, if you're so up on this, then you can go back to last week's episode of Strict Scrutiny, where she actually did say, I went back and looked, and it turns out I did say it. And she played the clip, and she admitted it, and said, I just didn't recall saying it. This was her podcast.
That's great, but she was in front of a committee, and she lied about saying
She
that.
wasn't there to testify about her podcast, ma'am. She was there to testify about judicial injunctions. It'd be one thing if she was there being dragged for some reason in front of a Senate committee hearing for exercising her free speech, which, again, would be a violation of the First Amendment. But she was there to talk about her subject matter expertise on judicial injunctions. He brought up something from April 22nd, 2024, an episode over a year ago, and is like yelling at her for not remembering saying that. So she wasn't lying. I find his behavior egregious. What you can do right now, you asked what you can do. You can take down the comment and say that we expect our senators, all of them, whether we are their constituents or not, and especially when they're conducting business that affects the entire American people, which nationwide injunctions do, to conduct himself more professionally, and certainly not to be hypocritical about that by screaming gag me with a spoon at a witness while telling her that she's the one being unprofessional. That's what you can do for me.
Okay, can I get your first and last name and your area code?
Yes, my first and last.
So you're just calling to express your opinion about you don't like
about his behavior in that Senate committee hearing. And I'm a little bit concerned about your comments here too, saying that, that accusing her of lying, which is not what happened.
Well, that is what he accused her of, which was lying. That is true.
She didn't lie. She said, I don't recall saying that. Not remembering something that
All I'm
she
saying
said.
is that it's a pretty big statement for someone not to remember that they said on their live podcast that goes out to the world.
Do you remember the things that you said a year ago? You answer the phones for a U.S. senator. That's a pretty big deal. Do you remember every single thing that you say when you answer the phone and talk to constituents? In a year from now, are you going to remember this conversation that you're having with me?
I do remember angry constituents.
Okay, well, I hope this one is memorable because I'm getting pretty frustrated right now. I was literally calling to express frustration, but right now I'm pretty frustrated with your entire office. If you guys really think that the way your senator behaved, with a witness, a well-credentialed witness, by the way, is like acceptable, then I truly am. I guess this is just like how Senator Kennedy's office operates. I guess this is like.
Well, no, ma'am. Well, you're being very rude. And,
oh no, ma'am! I am not being rude. I am. See, okay. If you think that this is rude, to tell you that you are mistaken, that you are confused, because you're sitting there saying, "Well, I watched the entire thing." You said she was lying. She wasn't lying. She said she didn't recall, which she did not. And as I said, she wasn't brought before. This is so bizarre. She wasn't brought before the Senate for her podcast. She was brought before the Senate as a subject matter expert about judicial injunctions. The podcast was brought up. I guess one of your staffers must have found this transcript for him, because I know sure as heck that Senator Kennedy didn't find this himself. You guys found this as a gotcha for the witness, and he's like screaming at her about it, and then ends it with "gag me with a spoon." He's a senator talking to a witness in a formal committee hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're excusing his behavior, and you're criticizing her for not remembering something that she said over a year ago about subject matter that she wasn't there to testify about. You absolutely are. You absolutely are.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, anyway, I to be honest, like, I haven't gotten this heat. I call Congress all the time. I have not gotten this heated in a minute. I am, like, bamboozled by this whole exchange. So I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. I encourage you to go listen to that podcast from, I believe it was 2 episodes ago, where she said, like, where she went ahead and looked it up for him to make sure that she wasn't mistaken. She admitted her mistake to her entire audience. But she was not there to testify about her podcast, and I find this whole gotcha thing and this whole like trying to accuse her of lying and whatever. This is very, very strange, and I think you need to reflect on this a little bit. So I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right.
Holy crap.